Welcome, everyone. I am Viviette White. I'm one of the librarians at the Allegra Westbrooks Regional Library, and I'm so honored to have our guest today, Mayor Vi Lyles of Charlotte, North Carolina. Vi Lyles, if you're not aware of, is a Democrat and now in her second term as mayor of Charlotte. As the nation's 16th largest city with nearly 900,000 residents, Charlotte is one of the top 5 fastest growing large cities in the United States, and one of the only 3 cities to have grown by double digits each decade since 1960. Under Mayor Lyles' direction, Charlotte continues to lead the nation in community engagement and action to address affordable housing. The city of Charlotte committed $50 million to these efforts, and via a bond that was approved by the community in 2018. One of Mayor Lyles' greatest efforts is she anticipates a plan for growth, focusing on the key areas of transportation, infrastructure, and community safety. Without further ado, I would like to give my hand clap and nod to our queen, our Mayor Vi Lyles. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a delight to be with everyone today. I have to tell you, with great regret, I am going to a funeral of someone that's very special to us. Christy Chesley Christie her services today. So I hope that we will all remember to keep each other well and safe, and to reach out for people that you don't quite know where they are and what they're doing. But if any sign, let's just give people a hand and let them know that we're here for them.
Yes.
And thank you for the wonderful introduction. Some days it's better to be mayor, and some days I'd just rather be me, and stay at home. But it's all worth it. It's absolutely all worth it.
Yes, it is.
I help people. I love this city, and I hope that I can just do my part to make it better, not just for those of us today, but for those that are coming tomorrow. I always try to think about what do we need to do today to make everybody successful tomorrow. So is this going to be questions and answers? Are you going to help me do this?
Well, I'm going to help you do this, Mayor Lyles, and I'll ask our guests to stay on mute and leave our questions for the end. But one of the questions I would like to lead with is, what is the favorite part about being the mayor of Charlotte?
Oh my gosh, that's pretty easy. Doing things like this, it revives me. As you know, the paper's been giving me a hard time this week about a hire that I didn't make, but one that I know Black women have to stand up for each other and make sure that we don't let other people tear us down just because they think we're vulnerable. Yes. So when I do something like this, it really gives me just like a refresh to say, why did you do this? And you did it because the people here believe in you enough, and I can't. I'm blessed for that. That's what I think. I believe that people have cared deeply about me. You'd be surprised how many notes I get saying I'm praying for you today. I get a few other notes that probably say I wish you'd do something else, but mostly people understand that life isn't as simple as it used to be, and that I'm working and doing my very best to get things done in a way that makes all of us proud.
And that's the thing. A lot of people have to understand that you have roles as a mayor, but you are over several departments that run the city. It's not all up to you. You put people in place, and people vote people in place to do those other tasks. So can you quickly tell us one of the roles that you're very proud of right now as mayor of Charlotte?
Well, I'm very proud of the work that we've done on affordable housing. You talked about the bond of $50 million, but to go out and raise more money to make it $100 million, I hope people know we've got 4,700 units under construction and on the way for affordability. And that's in just the last 4 years. And I can't be more proud of the community for supporting it, for people understanding that this is really not an issue that just belongs to people that need affordable housing. Because anybody that needs affordable housing is working probably every day to do something. And these are people that we pay and employ in this corporate community. So I want wages to rise. I want people to be able to afford to live and not have to say I live in an affordable place. But I also recognize that we have to do things in a way that we move forward, and we have to, it's going to take some steps to do it. And there are always going to be people that are not going to make as much money as we think that they need, but they deserve a decent place to live, especially our homeless. Exactly. And so we're looking at embarking on the issue around more places like Moore's Place, where there are units, there's social work, there's services, and people that can care about this. So I think that's what I'm most proud of, really.
And I like that you mentioned affordable housing, because we have a lot of customers who do come in the library. Several of our residents here in Charlotte have suffered from loss of homes based on loss of jobs or just loss of connect with their family members. And we do see a large homeless community. There's also a large group of families who are now seeking homes. There are certain areas that will receive more housing, seeing the disparity, especially in the African American community? Are there new homes being built for seniors and for family units?
Well, one of the things that we have on the table right now, we just learned about it on Monday, is at the end of Catherine Simmons Drive, there is a large parcel of land that we are talking about building for ownership housing, where you could buy the unit, buy the house. Of course, it's a townhouse, but it's still someplace, if you can invest in it and live there, your value is going to grow. And so that's one of the places that we're looking at. There's going to be another complex on at the corner of Statesville and Oaklawn. You know, that vacant property across from the old PAL Center is vacant. And there again, we are going to fund or subsidize the funding for townhouses there that will be affordable for people that work every day. And so we're making these steps. I wish that we could approve things and the building could be done tomorrow. But be patient, because the building will be done. As soon as we can get this pandemic done, we'll get the work going, and we're going to you'll see some changes, particularly along the Beatties Ford Road corridor.
And that's a good thing. It's like we still function even during these pandemic times. What is the biggest challenge that you faced over the course of the pandemic? We've noticed that we started shutting down our city in 2020 in April. And then we started to open back up. What are some of the challenges that you faced in your job and on your leadership during this pandemic?
I think the biggest challenge that we're going to have or have had during the pandemic is keeping small businesses open and giving them the money to survive. You know, the President Biden sent millions of dollars out to all of the cities, and Charlotte was one of them. We took $70 million and put it out there for small businesses to keep their doors open. We said, use this to get protective equipment, use this to pay the people that are on your payroll so that they can come to work. And that, I think, has been a great program and a great effort, because my philosophy about leadership is that you set forth the principles of what you want to do first. You say, we're going to focus on small businesses. We're going to do keep people's doors open. We're going to keep people employed. And one of the most important things we did was keep people from being evicted. And that's still going on right now, because eviction can take a while for everything to catch up. But this pandemic has impacted our small businesses and and people that are living in rentals that sometimes, I have to say, landlords just wanted to evict anyway, and they thought they found a path, and we had to fight that. We had to make a difference. So we do a lot of landlord participation, mediation. Just a couple of weeks ago, a young woman and her daughter were about to be evicted, and she emailed me at 8 o'clock that night. I'm going to show you how this works. And I sent her back a note saying, I'm really sorry this is happening. Here are 2 resources that can help you, but I want you to call the shelter just in case. And in the next half hour, Julie Porter at I call it the Hearts of Partnership, emailed her and said, here is the name of the person to talk to tomorrow. We negotiated with that landlord within 24 hours and prevented a woman and her child, her daughter, from being evicted. And that's what we try to do. That's what this is about.
And these are the connections we love, because as a mayor, you're so connected with our community, and we've seen that over the years you've been in this role. What are some of the community partners you work with kind of on a daily basis, or on a retrospectively, these partners that you can share with the audience that is listening right now, some of the community partners you deal with every day?
I believe that the neighborhood organizations are the foundation for change, and they can prevent problems from taking place in their neighborhoods, and they can also help us understand better the dynamics of it. So I spend a lot of time, this would be not surprising, I guess, talking with people that actually work for us, the police department, finding out what the officers, what the chief needs, because we all have the same goal. We don't want to have people that have to go to jail. What we want is to prevent that. We also do a lot of work with our housing partners. So the housing partnership, and I'm trying to think of their new name. It's something that I cannot remember right now. But I do a lot of work with our advisory committees. This morning, I had an email conversation with Kim Graham. Many of you know Kim. She's been in Charlotte forever. She went to my alma mater, Queens, and she was actually my kids' babysitters at one point.
Oh, wow.
And now she's a very successful property manager. And we were talking about these apartments that the single family homes that corporations are buying and renting, and how do we prevent that from happening in our neighborhoods? I don't know if you know Hidden Valley.
Yes, I do
think
very
over
well.
30% of Hidden Valley is now owned by corporate America.
Wow.
And they don't live here. They don't have anything to do with how we're trying to make it informed. All they're worried about is, do I get my payment for my rent? They're not
the money.
It's all about the money. Mm-hmm. So Kim is leading our effort on displacement and gentrification. And we've had this conversation about what are we going to do about these corporate investors coming in, because if they buy the house, they're coming in and they're going to write a check that day. Mm-hmm. You and I would have to go to the bank, file an application for a mortgage,
to get a loan.
It takes 3 weeks for a credit check, and the house is gone by then. And they focus on the housing that we need to sell to first-time homeowners. So I'm going to ask Victoria Watlington, who chairs our housing committee on the city council, to think about how do we need to increase our down payment assistance program? Mm-hmm. Is there a way to get in front of these folks, and can we move more quickly to prevent them from doing that? That's what we have to do. We have to start thinking like that to get ahead of these people that are already making these changes.
And these are constant challenges that I see you and other city officials deal with. And over the years, like you mentioned, gentrification has changed the shape and scope of the residents who are here. And it strongly impacts the homeless population right now, including the families that are seeking to move into Charlotte. I moved into Charlotte back in, I don't
even talk about it.
1998. And since 1998, I've seen an amazing growth. It's just that it's almost like we're running out of space. Some of the problems I do see is with the housing, and I know that you've had this bond that is going into effect. But like you were saying, the outside companies, private industry is buying up the homes and making it hard. What would you consider a solution, as far as helping individuals who are seeking to move into our Charlotte area, to find housing and how to, apply? Is there any division of your branch that could specifically help them?
I think I may need to email you some contacts, but Bank of America has a fabulous down payment program. Mm-hmm. They have a program where they help people clean up their credit and get mortgages. And they actually have programs where you can go for one day and be in a house, and it's a newly constructed, or you can buy a house that's already constructed. But we have to get people aware of it, and they can't do it to the volume that people need. We are growing really fast, and there's probably people that come here expecting immediate success, and we know that that's not always the case. If you come with a job, you're more likely to be able to find a place to live. If you come without a job, seeking a job, and have no place to live, that's just tougher any place you go. That would be what would happen. But what I believe is that we have the resources to help guide people if they have the training. So one of the other programs that I hope to work on, you know, we're talking about building that medical school over on Moorhead Street. And my goal would be they're going to hire 10,000 people to work in that campus.
Wow.
5,000 of those jobs don't require a bachelor's degree. So what are we trying to do? My apologies. What we're trying to do is to get Central Piedmont to do those associate degrees for the lab technicians, the X-ray technician, your mammogram technician, all of that, to create that job now and work with our people that are underemployed or not making for good paying jobs, that when they come open, they're not recruiting people. I heard today that Novat is bringing in nurses from the Philippines. And I thought to myself, there are many people in this community that could become a nurse.
Yes.
But the state won't provide teachers for night. And many people in this community would have to take the training at night or on the weekends. So we've got to fix this misalignment of what we need to do and what the rules are. And I can tell you that's the toughest part of my job.
Yes, it is. It's the toughest part because you're working against the system that can be fixed. Having outsourced people come in to do the jobs of people who are here, who are pretty skilled at any type of work. And I guess that's the frustration with the residents who are here. They're like, well, we need to find a job, but when can I get training? If they have to work during the day, when's the training?
And they need transportation.
Transportation,
need
exactly.
Childcare, all of these things that we got to rethink. We in order to keep up, we're going to have to rethink these things, and it's hard to do that sometimes.
Exactly. I know your time is pressed. I do have a very I do want to open up just some to our guests because I know we have just a few minutes left. But what did you best like about coming into politics? Because I know before you were a mayor, you were working in the city council. What was the spark? What was the inspiration to aspire to become the mayor of Charlotte?
Wow. So I'm going to tell you very honestly, I thought we were going the wrong direction. And it wasn't about what we were doing. It was the way that we presented ourselves to the public. I believe that you can have disagreements without being disagreeable. I believe that the question isn't, do you get what you want? It's whether or not you can live with what everybody can live with. And that's what I thought we were doing. It was kind of like, if you don't do this, then this is going to happen. And we have a lot of that now. I have a council member that's calling me a liar and says I'm filled with deceit. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't fathom that. It's just not, if I know who I am. And when they say things like that, what they're doing is really disparaging the voters that chose you. And so what I would say that made me want to be in public service in this way is to try to help everybody come to a consensus, not just that you win what you wanted. Like if you want to just win, go to corporate America. They value that winning attitude. My attitude is, how do we serve the most people in the best way possible that everyone benefits from?
Excellent. And I agree. Because, when you grew up, did you see images of people like yourself?
Oh gosh, no. No, of course not. I grew up in the segregated South, and people think that that's not a thing, but it is truly a thing.
It is true. And there were doors that were closed. And the reason why I present that is because we have a lot of people who not just are listening or who will see this on a later date. They have to understand that because you are the first Black woman mayor of Charlotte, there was no one that represented the first Black mayor when you were growing up. And that's why I'm like, what you are stepping into is definitely highly favored. And I mean, the way you carry yourself and the things you do is just incredible, because you do face a lot of adversity. You do face a lot of challenges every day, as you said. But growing up in segregated South, what part of the South did you grow up in, by the way?
I grew up in Columbia, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Not too far down the road.
Not too far down the road from Charlotte. So
right,
you
not too far.
yeah, you did see a lot during your time. And I was going to also ask you, is there anyone who, past or present, is an inspiration to you that you just wake up every morning and just say, this is why I do what I do?
I think about this a lot because people ask me that, and my answer has been consistent. I had a great mom. Mm-hmm. And when I thought things were bad, she was always there for me. I don't know if you know, but I'm a breast cancer survivor. Mm-hmm. And I remember calling my mother to tell her the doctor said that I had breast cancer. And I remember her saying, you know, Vi, life is going to happen, but we need to put this in perspective. And she said, it's time for us to pray together. And that's what she did for me. And so that is my hero, my shero.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us will agree. Our mothers, grandmothers, the souls in our homes that we're closest with, yes, the most advice and the most care. And I think a lot of times I look to you as that, a symbol of a lot of people see their mother in you or an auntie.
Some people call me auntie sometimes.
Yes.
I'm not that old yet, but I am, and it's okay. I'm fine. You know, respect is for Black women, all of us. I mean, I look at the pictures that are on the screen now, and I think respect is everything. I remember when we used to walk through a white neighborhood, and my mother would say, "You speak to those people just like you would speak to anyone else." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Wow, they don't speak to us." But you know, in the long run, I'd rather be a good person and do the right thing than to just take something beyond hate or ill will towards anyone. And exactly. I think those are the value lessons that we learned young. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think we're missing out. I am so grateful that I do not have to deal with social media.
Mm-hmm. Before we conclude today, I wanted to open up to our guests if there were any questions that are pressing, because I know we have several people listening in our conversation, and I wanted to open up the conversation to some of our community members who are listening. So with that being said, is there anyone who has a question for our Mayor Vi Lyles?
I don't have a question, but I just have a comment because I know kind of pressed for time. Mm-hmm. And she covered a lot of what I was interested in hearing about housing, senior housing. But I just want to make a comment and thank the mayor for just coming and being on this public forum. I've never really heard her speak. So I just want to thank her for her service and for her courage.
You're so kind. Thank you. I am grateful.
Thank you.
And Vivian, I will send you the names of those 2 developments that we're looking at. Perfect. And I will get you the new name of the housing partnership. Mm-hmm. Senior housing has actually been a priority, and it's been a little bit easier to do because the federal government helps us a little bit more, but it's still not enough.
And that would help our customers as well, because we deal with a lot of people transitioning, re-entering into the workforce, and they need housing. We see families all the time at the library, and my fellow librarians who are listening on this agree that, yes, our job as public servants, a lot of times we deal with transition people and people who are in low income and seeking housing here in Charlotte. So this link would be excellent to share with our customers. Anyone else have a comment question for the mayor? Well, if not, I do have one last question for myself.
Okay.
What are you doing this weekend? Are you watching the Super Bowl?
I think that I'll be spending a lot of time thinking about the mayor's racial equity and how do we do that better and differently with more authentic commitment to it. I'm really pondering that. I just have to be frank about that. when you're challenged like that and you're trying to figure it out. My goal is always to think things through again. You know, I hope that everyone on this call, especially those that are librarians in our system, that you understand how important you are. The way that people come in and they don't see anyone in their community to help them, and they can walk in and you guys can put them in a place that they can be heard, that you assist them. Librarians and teachers and police officers and firefighters are my heroes. And you don't know, sometimes you will never know what you've done to help and assist someone because you were just doing what you do. And I can imagine that if you got the thank you notes, you probably have a big stack. And I want you to know how much I appreciate that.
We appreciate you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for tipping your hat to us. And as always, it is such a pleasure to see you. I hope to one day see you here at the Allegra Westbrooks Library or at one of our branches for an in-person event, because
that would be
great. Doing a lot lately and doing a lot of video calls, but this also brings people from other places into our special place. And thank you for opening up today and letting us get a one-on-one conversation with you, because it's personal to be close to the mayor and other, you know, a part of our city. The other people who are in our city, we'd like to see them as well, but it is such a pleasure.
Thank you.
And an honor.
No, I'll be glad to come back. Okay.
Definitely.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you.
Bye.
We'll see you another time. And I thank you all guests for joining us today.